What he says versus what he means.
New War Department golden rule is this. Do unto your unit as you would have done unto your own child's unit. Would you want him serving with fat or unfit or undertrained troops? Or alongside people who can't meet basic standards? Or in a unit where standards were lowered so certain types of troops could make it in?
So this is after they saw what China has at the 80th anniversary parade against fascism. They got scared so much. They wanted to re-standardize, remobilize the standards of American military, starting with generals who are not in shape, starting with DEI soldiers, the people that got hired because of quota requirement. That's what they're saying. That's what they're claiming. They don't want to see that happening anymore in the future. So Pete is in this military leadership conference in Quantico, Marine Corps Base, is that this desire to rebuild the American military and push out fat and fit soldiers might have been a reason to re-standardize their military or revitalize their military. But this is a strong move. You look at America. America has many races from around the world. Every religion is in the United States military. Meaning they don't want to accept sloppiness in the military anymore. They don't want to have ineffective combat soldiers anymore. This only mean one thing, right? They want to be tough like China does. Whenever you watch Chinese military parades, you can always see how disciplined and how tough they are and how they can operate like a machine, on time, precise, and menacing. If you haven't watched those parades, please do. You will be scared. America is not scared at this moment because their military parade, that was the one Trump did, not a very impressive thing. Not a very impressive thing, okay? And after watching the parade, I felt like America is not militarily ready to compete against Russia and China. The mentality, the morality, they don't give a shit about their president. I mean, who cares? That's your duty, right? That's your duty to serve your president, serve your nation, serve your constitution. The constitution makes the president the head of state, so you have to follow the head of state. And also, it makes the president commander-in-chief at the same time. You have to follow your commander-in-chief no matter what. Yes, there are some unlawful orders you may have to avoid, but it is not unlawful to have a military parade to show the strength of a nation. When I saw soldiers marching in not unison and not in discipline, I realized, I mean, with this American army, they can't even defeat, believe me, they can't even defeat a small nation. Maybe they have technologically superior weapons against small nations, but not against China. All right, not against China, not against Russia. It's not on the same level. The mentality, the discipline, and the morality is not on the same level. It can be seen on the parade. So after that parade and after all the nations toughening up, even China was laughing their asses off when they saw the military parade. So China got tougher after that parade, right? Because America is basically a paper tiger. You can see it from the military parade. People may argue, people might say, you cannot see such a thing on a military parade. It's just people protest. You can argue however you like. If you are not disciplined enough to show your country's might, even in a military parade, your military is losing something called self-respect. So if I'm American, I might support Pete Sage's plan and idea to revitalize American military. But in the same time, they are pushing out DEI soldiers and DEI holders, DEI hires out of U.S. military. And some people might have a problem with that.
In a unit where leaders were promoted for reasons other than merit, performance, and warfighting?
So yes, that is very militaristic. All right. You have to promote people based on merit, leadership, and war fighting in a military unit, in a military squad, in a military base, right? If you don't do that, your soldiers might get discouraged to try something like effectiveness, right? So hiring DEI people to fill the quota and promoting people just because they have a DEI requirement discourages soldiers in your military to pursue excellence rather than, you know what I mean, right? So they're trying to weed mediocrity out of the military.
The answer is not just no, it's hell no.
Right? Hell no. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that anymore. Maybe it's because they got scared. Maybe it's because that's what they truly want to do. But whatever it is, after they saw what China did at the military parade, the recent one, America got really active in reshaping the military. This is another video of the speech. Let's have a look.
To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting.
The warfighting, like I said, right? So after they saw what their adversaries are capable of, they need to reshape the military into peak form. It has to be peak. It has to be perfect. It has to be the best and menacing and fearing. So that's what they're trying to do. Well, of course, the Marines on the TikTok might argue with me that, well, Marines are already in peak shape. I know the Marines are already in the peak shape. All right. I know that, but that's what he's doing, right? He got scared. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Preparing for war and preparing to win. Unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit.
Unrelenting and uncompromising, meaning he wants to, Trump's government wants to reshape the military into a beast rather than a DEI machine. That's the first thing, right? And compromising means it's time to wake up, America, and let's build our defense, not even defense, that offense stronger and more menacing to be the number one, the top dog on the planet, which is now China. They know that this is their reaction. Okay. This is their reaction against China being the number one person, number one guy at that top 3 level. China is number one. They don't want to admit it. They won't publish research papers admitting China is number one, but they know deep down, right? So this is the reaction. Let's revitalize our military. Let's reshape our military into peak form, into a war machine that it used to be, so that people would be scared of America again, be afraid of America again.
Not because we want war. No one here wants war. But it's because we love peace.
The peace that America wants, right? When war leaders say peace, it's not peace for the residents. It's not peace for the locals. It's peace for them, the peace that they want, right? Their peace might have some conflicts because the peace that they want is not the peace, not what everyone on the planet wants. So in order to pursue the peace they want, they need a bigger military, stronger military, more disciplined one, more order following one.
We love peace for our fellow citizens. They deserve peace, and they rightfully expect us to deliver. Our number one job, of course, is to be strong so that we can prevent war in the first place.
The defense. Starting with America, every nation under American influence, they are now preparing for a stronger defense. Meaning, they're not strong anymore. They don't want to admit it, right? One politician says, They want something strong for their country, for their military. It is inadvertently admitting they're not strong anymore, right? They're not number one anymore. America is scared. America realizes if they go toe to toe with China or Russia at this moment, they might possibly lose because of protection power. Remember, America only won World War II because of protection power. Their protection power was unmatched in the 20th century. They can mass produce ships. They can mass produce aircraft carriers. They can mass produce weapons, ammos, and supplies. America was a massive industrial powerhouse in 20th century. That's why they won Second World War. They had almost unlimited supply of weapons and ammos and planes and ships. Almost unlimited, right? Almost. No country could beat that supply. All wars are logistical if you truly understand how a war is fought. Right now it's China. China is the industrial powerhouse. Not even in the region, not even in Asia, but the whole world. Everyone has used something made in China in their life. More than 10 times. More than Japanese products, more than Korean products. China is the production powerhouse now. Now China can outproduce naval assets, naval ships, more than 200 times if you compare it to that of America's, that of the United States. It's something to be afraid of. And if you look at the mentality, morality, and the discipline of the people serving in China, it's very different. They are in peak form. I even saw other military service members from other countries in the Russian military parade, other soldiers who are in the same position, fangirling over Chinese marching bands, Chinese marching squad, because they're so disciplined, they're so in unison. It is a primary example now for the rest of the world. No country has ever achieved such an admiration. If you look at it from the people's side, from the people serving in the military side, you would also see they outperform America. That's why this speech.
The president talks about it all the time. It's called peace through strength. And as history teaches us, the only people who actually deserve peace are those who are willing to wage war to defend it.
They are preparing for a fight. They're a big fight, right? They're preparing for a big fight. I even talked about the Japanese new prime minister talking about going to the right-wing ideologies, implementing right-wing policies, immigration, refugees, and illegal migration. Everyone on the America side is turning to the right wing.